Hello friends! Welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our health planners for the next week in August. And I've got some washi tape here ready to go, as well as some highlighters that I may use. This ink pad and brushes for blending. These set of habit trackers and stat stickers I created on my computer. These sheets of label paper, and this sticker book, which I'll pull from. So this is the third week of the August Plannable Challenge, and this week's theme is Soaking Up Summer. So if you'd like to participate, go ahead and post your spreads up on Instagram using the hashtag PlannableAugust2022. We'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get things going. I really want to use these stickers from the Cheerful Seasonal sticker book, Cheerful Seasons maybe, and I have an idea for what I want to do, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to implement it yet. So we will see how this all comes together. I bought a bunch of craft style label paper back, I think around Black Friday, and have had it in my stash for a little bit. I saw another planner babe use it. I think actually it was like a bullet journal babe, and she just used it as background for a lot of her spreads, and I thought that was a great idea. So I went ahead and bought it, and I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but I do see some potential in some future spreads for this craft paper stuff. I've got that, and I also have some basic paper label paper that I'm going to be using as well to kind of create the scene. I'm going to draw out a few wave shapes here and create some water. Just going to use my pencil to get the basic shape going on here, and then we'll see where that takes us. I pulled out this speckled egg distressed oxide from Tim Holtz because I noticed that the color was a perfect match for the kind of greenish blue gray that's in the stickers in the Cheerful Seasonal sticker book. I think it's Cheerful Seasons. I keep saying Cheerful Seasonal. But anyway, it's a seasonal book. So what I wanted to do was just to kind of create some water that was exactly that color. So I'm just going to use the label paper to do that, and the ink, which is just a really good match for the color I was looking for. So you're going to see me do a lot of cutting on this one. I started out with just one set of waves here, and then I wanted to make another one for the opposite side as well. The basic technique I'm using here to create those wave shapes is if you just draw little cursive C's, you will get the wave shape. If you can kind of see it there on the paper itself. A little bit of a sideways cursive C will give you the shape, and then you just kind of connect the point that you end on with the top of the next C. That works pretty well. I will say this is not my favorite shape for waves. I went back and forth whether I wanted to do just kind of like a soft wave, you know, something very simple. But because those stickers have a few stickers in there with that sharp kind of C-shaped wave, I wanted to match that styling. So I went ahead and did the C shape for all the water. And now I am working on the sand as well. I've put in some highlighter to darken the color of the craft paper a little bit to match better with the stickers and the sand castles in particular, so that it would look like it was built out of the same type of sand. And then I'm going to layer them together and kind of create like a beachy scape, seascape there on the middle section of the spread. I wanted to do it at the bottom of the spread. I thought that would be a really cute, you know, bottom heavy spread to do. However, I have my habit tracker there, or my water tracker there on the edge, and I wanted this to be continuous all the way through. But I use that water tracker, so I just didn't think it was going to work for me functionally to push it all the way down to the bottom this week. I could have done it and then just cut it short there to the sidebar, but again, I really wanted it to go from side to side across the thread, so I decided to do it in the middle. And you can see what my plan is here. I am thinking of putting in the stickers kind of in and behind the sand. And also thinking that maybe it would be nice to have an extra layer of the sand as well. So we're going to try and kind of create, like I said, that extra layer there using the piece I trimmed off earlier. And I'll just rip it. I was going to cut it and I was like, no, I'll just rip it so I keep that kind of rough look all the way throughout. Let's see how that layers in. I think that's going to be nice to give a little bit of dimension to the spread itself and to the scene I'm trying to create. I am struggling a little bit with the sandcastle. I think the problem really stems from that moat that's around the sandcastle. It just isn't working very well with the little sand scene that I've got going here. So we'll see if I can kind of make some adjustments there shortly. And since I'm going to go ahead and layer that other area of sand, I decided that I was just going to go ahead and layer the water too, again, to create that dimension to the scene. So I'm just going to speckle egg this whole layer sheet or label sheet up and create more of those waves here in a second. That's really what takes the longest on this video. I didn't get too indecisive on things. It was more about just creating the waves for the most part. So this video is a little bit longer than normal, but that's mainly why. It's just me kind of creating and cutting out those waves. And I'll go ahead and do that same technique for the sand on the opposite side. And kind of match it up with what's there. Mainly just really focused on how it's going to lay in. And then I decided I would just use what I already pre-cut as a stencil so that I could keep a bit of symmetry throughout. And I'll just go ahead and pencil that in and, like I said, use that as my stencil. Since I know the size is already right and has a nice set of waves already kind of built in, we'll get that going and go from there. I wish I would have thought of this sooner. I really liked having a little bit more of the white on like the second layer, which you'll see. So the first one that I did, I kind of made a little bit dark compared to the last one. And the last one I think has the best feel of dimension with the lighter bits coming through and being a little bit brighter. And I'm just using that as a stencil, like I said, to trace out the different wave patterns that I'm going to be making. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first layer on the opposite side here. I didn't do anything too exact, so I just, as I went, I cut, and then if I needed to make some tweaks on each of the waves individually, that's what I did. Since I ended up layering it, I think it would have been just as cute to do the kind of just a soft wave look instead of these kind of sharp angled waves. Because then when you create a second layer, that really, I think, sells the water feel. But like I said, this one works out too, and again, kind of reiterates some of the stickers that are already there on the theme in the book. And I didn't want to pencil in any more of the wave patterns because you could see them. They did get kind of brushed out or smushed out when I put in the ink, but I definitely have some pencil marks still left over on the opposite side. So I decided to just use the edge of the leftover label backing as my guide on the second layer. And since I put those other stickers down before I had decided on that second layer, I had to pick those up and then try to figure out how I was going to layer this guy in. I'm also going to trim it so that one side will be for one and one for the other. That's why I was tracing it out. I'll kind of do the same thing on this, I said, just kind of winging it. So here you can kind of see where I put in a little bit more of the blue on this second layer, and yeah, I think that was probably better to keep it a little bit lighter, so I decide that on the next one, which you'll see. And I went ahead and stuck it down, just kind of layered it like I was planning. And we'll do the same thing over here. I'm lining it up to the very top of that grid area at the bottom of the layout. So that's what I'm using as my guide. This side's going to have a bit more overlap than the opposite side. I made the sand a little bit thicker on the left than on the right. So it's good to not commit quite yet and kind of figure out what I needed before I did, so that I could make sure to have enough to fill the full gap up to that line. So as you can see on this one, I did not add any more ink to it. That's the way to go. So if you're going to be redoing this type of spread with your own, your own theme, I highly suggest creating some color variation between the layers. Even the sand might have been a little bit better had I left it just regular craft paper in the back and then kind of darkened it up in the front, or vice versa, depending on how it looked best. And then with the waves, same thing, have some be white, maybe closer to shore, and then the darker ones closer to us, you know what I mean? Just some thoughts I had as I was building this out. So I think I have the layers how I like, and we'll just set those in. I'm just using the edges of the label paper to kind of set the placement, and then I can work on what's going to go behind the sand without worrying about picking up and putting down the layers. I was playing around with this a little bit because I was really actually trying to work on the color. I wanted to have a little bit of the darker blue on each side, so that's why I originally started moving things around, and then I had my sandcastle frustration, as you'll see in a minute. So the plan is to have all of my workouts here above this little scene. And I just went ahead and trimmed off that moat that was really bothering me on the sandcastle, and it looks so much better. So I was very happy I did that. Go ahead and drop in these palm trees too, just here in the corner. And lay back in those stickers that I cut up with the wave pattern. I don't know about those, I will be honest, I'm not totally sold on how those look in general with the waves that I have. But yeah, you do what you gotta do. You put them in, or, I just wanted to get some use out of them really, so that's why I left those in. And so here I have two blue items on one side and then none over here really on the left side. So I feel like I'm gonna have to move things around a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of place where I think the rest of the items are gonna go just to get a feel for how much color I've got going on around the spread. And I like this small box sticker for the sidebar. I think that's going to work out nice with the theme. And then there's a few paper stickers I might be able to pull in here. Again, not really a big fan of combining the clear and the paper stickers, at least in the same area, you know, like if I'm trying to design something with one in mind. So we'll see what I can make happen here. And so I pulled some washi tapes to go with this theme. And originally I was thinking I might border the bottom of the waves with the washi tape. But then, I don't know. I mean, it's nice. It's just taking up a little bit too much room now, I think, if I put that down there. And I thought it would be kind of cute to maybe use the flip-flop stickers as little markers for my total points or total calories area at the bottom of my food log, but still not 100% sure on those. So what I decided to do is just start to move things over first and then take care of the supplemental items like the washi and those little markers and things after I have it laid down on the page. So let's start by whiting out the lines up here in this main section. That'll give us a nice clean palette to work with as we build out this scene. And I'm going to do that entire second box area. I don't think I'll need to really worry about covering the boxes below because that'll be mostly covered with the label paper, but I did want to make sure I had a clean background for the rest. I'm going to go ahead and start laying in the sidebar here, starting with the habit trackers I decided on. I had two options, but I really liked the more colorful option here. And since I'm going to have a lot of decor there near the bottom, I can't put them in their normal spot, so we'll put them here at the top. And then I'll drop in the box and get started here on the left side with the decor. Try to get an idea for placement of the background image to make sure that it's totally covered by the overlay when I get that in. And I'll lay down that first part and then finish that out there. Just kind of aligning everything to that top box I mentioned before in the grid area. And then I'll trim it out. I was going to try to cut off the little edges of clear overhang, but I think I'll just push those down. It's going to be too hard to get a nice clean cut there. And I moved a few things around, so I added back in that sunscreen bottle, and we'll move on to the next side as well. All in all, I think this turned out cute. Could have been, I don't know, could have been a little better. You know how sometimes you finish a spread and you feel like it's going to be one way and it's not quite exactly what you envisioned. And that's kind of how this one turned out for me. I think it really was those waves, the angular shape of the waves was bothering me. I feel like they're going to cut me. It's silly, but I don't know, the sharpness of it is bothering me, so that's something I'll deal with for the rest of the week, I guess. Good times. I'll go ahead and drop in the stat stickers I have here as well. I grabbed out that kind of teal, I don't know, gray blue color, and like almost like a dark purpley navy color that matches up with the colors I have there on the spread. And that worked out really good. I just happened to have those in my stash ready to go. And a few other little things still left over here. I'm going to drop in this paper sun sticker just to have a little bit of sun presence there in my beach scene. I also thought it might be cool to make some clouds using like a navy ink. So I'm just going to do a little sample. But when I did it, I was like, ooh, that's too purple. Too purple compared to the blue I have on there. And I could have kind of softened it with the speckle egg tone, but I just didn't want to ruin it. Plus I need a lot of room there for my workout tracking, so we will just leave it as is and go from there. But I will drop in a little bit of washi tape here at the bottom just to add more of the blue, since there's quite a bit of that green blue tone above. I'll just lay that in and then just trim it to the edge. Again, it's just more for that blue, more of that navy blue tone. And I thought I would try the little shoe idea again, just non-committal, just putting it right there on the washi tape. But I just thought it was a little bit busy, so I changed my mind, and we'll just use a little flip-flops here in this empty space in the sidebar. Push down all the edges just to make sure everything looks good, and we will be done, friends. Oh wait, just kidding. I also need to punch the holes out from where the label paper is. So once I get that done, then we actually will be done, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment too if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye!